Sometimes I wonder if we take communication today for granted. Whenever I think about this, I'm reminded of a story I was told about my grandparents, which takes place in the 1940s during World War II. My grandpa was actually drafted and shipped off to Europe just 2 weeks after they were married, and their primary way of contact was letters, like pretty much every other soldier. So for 3 years, that was their communication. They wrote to each other frequently. And the day finally came when VE Day was declared, or Victory in Europe, and it was time for him to come home. So my grandma got on the streetcar that day, and she went down to Union Station in Kansas City, and she basically ran into shoulder-to-shoulder crowds of people in uniform. She knew she was supposed to meet him that day, but she couldn't find him. She waited for him at the train station for hours and hours, but he never turned up. She had no way of contacting him to make sure he was okay, so she waited around for several more hours, but eventually had to just give up and go home. Luckily, when she got home, she found him sitting there waiting for her. As it turned out, he hadn't received the last couple of letters that she'd sent him and wasn't aware that she would be picking him up at all. He was under the impression that she had moved on and had forgotten about him. So basically, this miscommunication nearly whittled 57 years of marriage down to just 3. What I'm trying to say is stay in touch with the people that matter and use the advantage you have with all the communication mediums that are out there. You never know what you might miss if you don't.